As you can see there, she will promote this with her heart. Thank you, Sister
Hello,
Barbara.
it's hello already. It's hello already.
we will be bringing Sister Barbara. But Sister Samira's kicked off tonight, man. I don't know what we're gonna do. Brothers and sisters. Jeez, licking shot upon Babylon buck foot with rice and peas and a buffalo soldier and a dreadlock muster. Brothers and sisters. Oh man, this is what Hidden Truth's about, brothers and sisters. This is what Hidden Truth's about. And you know what? We ain't even gonna take a heartbeat. We're not even gonna take a heartbeat right now, brothers and sisters, because right now we're bringing on a powerful sister, Sister Elizabeth, and she's gonna be dealing with from trauma to triumph. I love the title. I'm gonna say this again, brothers and sisters, from trauma to triumph. Yeah, because tonight is about wellness. We want to hear the journey of the Black woman. And you know what, brothers and sisters, I don't even know Sister Elizabeth, but you know, it's the first time I've met the sister today. And from the time she turned on her camera again, I'm seeing the Black woman is royal. The Black woman is regal. Sister Samira, can you please come in on this one? So Sister Elizabeth, just very quickly, sister, how are you doing, my queen?
I'm doing good, thank you.
I want to welcome you here to the Hidden Truth platform, sister. You're our family, sister. You're our family.
Brother Mohammed, thank you very much.
Thank you, Sister Samira. Please introduce our queen and we get the ball rolling.
Okay, well, brothers and sisters, I met Sister Elizabeth last year, and when I heard her story, it just moved me. But more importantly, it was the fact that she will share with you about her story, but it was the fact that she was able to take the pain and move it into actually action. We went from pain to purpose. And so that is why she will be sharing with you about how we can move from trauma to triumph. She's an absolutely amazing mom. She's an amazing partner. She's the author of the book In Relation to Men. She's actually a compliance officer. She's studied law. She actually runs a homeschooling program as well. But she works with those who are victors, not victims of sexual violence and domestic violence. And I'll let her actually share with you. So make sure you've got your pens and paper at the ready as well, so that we can all learn from this beautiful sister.
And Sister Elizabeth, we're gonna bring you on right now. But brothers and sisters, this is our queen's very first time on Hidden Truth. Please give her some welcome. Show her that she's loved, brothers and sisters. Let's show her that she's amongst her family right now. Sister Elizabeth, it's all yours, queen.
Thank you all. Hi, and thank you for welcoming me to your platform. Thank you. So, like Sister Samira said, my name is Elizabeth Hamilton. That's the pen name that I go by. I've written the book In Relation to Men. Now, this is a true to life biography, and it's created on my memoirs. So I've used my journals to create this draft of an example of how we can change things for the future. Now, in the book, I speak about a lot of mental health issues, a lot of things that have happened to me and things that I've seen in my life and things that have affected me. When I talk about things that have affected me, I'm talking about the things that we're handed down from the generation above us, from the community around us, and just basically everybody that's involved in our life, the education system, the social system, the whole lot. So I talk about it all in the beginning of this 5-part memoir. I'm going to get into a little bit of my mental health, since Sister Samira has basically taken about a good 8 minutes of my speech. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with a little bit of a brief about my book. Now, trigger warning, people, I left one of the chapters to the end of my book because I didn't want people to be reading it and get the wrong impression or be reading it with the wrong mindset. Now, what this book talks about is the males in my life, how they've influenced me, their behaviors have influenced me, and how I had to change those thoughts and feelings that I had collected of them once I had children of my own, especially when I had my sons. Now, I'm not sure if this has happened to any of you other women out there that have been through trauma in your younger years, where you then have a son and you realize that this can't possibly be how it has to go. This can't be it. I couldn't raise my sons to be princes and still carry the weight of what I was working with. At that point, I knew I had to change a lot of things, a lot of the things that were handed down and that I'd seen around me and that had happened to me. I had to change my way of dealing with them. Now, I'll say that I had a daughter first. And at that point, I thought I'd started changing. I thought I'd started loving myself, but I didn't really know what loving myself was until literally lockdown. Just before lockdown is when it hit me that I was only liking myself before. You know, I have this really confident persona and everyone sees me and thinks, yeah, she's holding it all together. She's doing brilliantly. She's coping. She goes to work. She's driving. Her kids look fine. They're well fed. Nothing can be possibly wrong with her. But I realized at the beginning of lockdown, when I faced the situation within my job as a compliance officer, that I was doing things that were against my inner purpose, against what my heart was saying. I'd taken this job thinking that if there's one good person that's thinking about the customers in a like-minded way, then everything would be okay, without realizing that I was going to be the last person of color before the directors and the CEO. So my word really was just not worth so much when there's nobody above me to agree with it, or even for what I'm speaking about to resonate with. None of them could understand or comprehend where I was coming from when I'm explaining certain situations to them. So this caused a great upheaval within my life and within my emotions. So this steady girl that was moving along and doing everything fine, it all became sort of like a crumble. And at the same time, I was writing my book. So I'm having to face some of the things that I hadn't really dealt with as well as I could have done. So getting to the triumph part of it. So during COVID, once I was going to, so I keep on saying that word, I hate that word, during the pandemic, when I was going through this situation with my employer, I decided to start helping out the children that were around me. I noticed my son was starting to face isolation issues, you know, with them being away from the friends at school, not being allowed to be around the family, etc., and all of these restrictions that were being put in place. So what I did is I started sharing some of the education lessons that I was coaching with my son. And a few other women from the Black Child Agenda came on board and started sharing some of their classes as well. And before we knew it, we were hitting international Zoom callers with my common law and human rights classes. Now, this was one of the things that had stood out to me from having talks with Sister Cheryl Phoenix, if anybody knows of her. And it just inspired me to really start putting this out to our children, start giving them the things that I believe held me back in my growing years, the things that I wish I had have known, the things that I wish had have been there, or I had been told by the older generation. I think that what we do, what we do in our older years is we start resonating with what could have happened, what could have changed. Hindsight is an incredibly brilliant thing, but what we need to do with that hindsight is switch it around and use it as foresight, so that we're then providing an easier path for our children, providing an easier navigation for them. They shouldn't have to bump into the trees and the cul-de-sacs that we have bumped into or we have gone down, because we've been through that experience. We've had that experience. Therefore, we should be able to let them know of these things and they can avoid this. The more we start being open about our experiences, the more other people will be open about theirs. And maybe, just maybe, some of the people that do choose to cause harm in our life or choose to react in ways that cause us harm, they might just stop doing that. You know, they might not find it a worthwhile attempt anymore. Or maybe we'll just find that strength with the people around us, not to give in to those energies, not to be taken in by the energies that pull us under. So with that, I'm going to get into a little bit of one of my poems that I recently shared in my speaker appearances. And it just talks a little bit about the invisible mask we wear. This could be culturally or with suffering from mental health. Sorry about the noise in my background. Okay, it's called The Invisible Mask. So during this current pandemic and with all the political and civil contentions, I feel compelled to be as honest as I can in the matter of health benefits or deficits. As a woman of darker complexion, wearing a mask feels no different to any other day in my natural life. When I leave my home, my family, my safe zones, I have forever been wearing a mask. From youths, we are told to ignore abuse or behavior in a manner not likened to that which is allowed within our homes. I have sat reading abuse on public walls, hearing it on the television, on the news, and I have always kept my mask on. I have witnessed educators laugh and giggle at defamatory comments made by colleagues, which reduce the worth and importance of the lights they are paid to ignite, and I have kept my mask on. I have suffered insult, verbal and physical abuse more times than I can remember, pertaining to things which are supposedly illegal in this country, and I have kept my mask on. I have turned the other cheek and used the well-versed ethnic detraction term to myself. Pay it no mind. That's just how these people are. And I have kept my mask on. I've watched the world leaders move in zigzags and CEOs running in rings to deny this systematic abuse exists. And I have kept my mask on. I have observed the time it has taken for reforms to be made within the hierarchy of the judicial system and in the media publications. And it has come to my attention that it has taken far too long. How is it that technology has moved so far as to be able to control an entire home security system, watch channels from global networks, and take photos from devices as small as a wristwatch? Yet common decency and basic human consideration is such a difficult adjustment to make. Whilst more and more information surfaces on the health and hindrances caused by wearing these corona prevention masks, it occurred to me that nobody is paying attention to the adverse effects of the invisible mask that we as ethnic people continue to wear to appease a society that does nothing to even make it seem as if it wants to accommodate us. When I am told that the workplace banter is to be inclusive of conversation and comments, which I personally have previously addressed as being disparaging, how exactly am I supposed to address my anxiety towards returning to that environment? When I am told the perspective on racial degradation I have is of no value to an organization because the same perspective was not shared by a person born of a later era, how is my self-confidence to be affected, and how will that in turn affect the dedication I have for my work ethic? When I was a little girl, I listened to the words of the song Greatest Love by Whitney Houston. I loved that song, and I thought everybody else did too. It was played so much. When I think of the children of the future, of my children, of my relatives, of my friends' children, of my children's friends, of your children, I see no masks. But I know that my public silence is just stitching new ones. So being congruent, if I do believe the children are the future, I can no longer wear my mask. Now, that was just a small piece that I wanted to share with you all. Now, when I did this piece,
sorry, sis, can I comment? No, you can't just jump off that, sister. That
Sorry.
was absolutely brilliant. I mean, the chat room is still going on. Sister, I felt that. One sister said, "You are truly the real Queen Elizabeth." Another sister said, I'm resonating on you. Sister, you've got such a beautiful and humble spirit, but you don't play. I can tell you don't play. You're straightforward. Sister, please carry on, beloved. But I couldn't let you just move on. That touched me all the way through my body.
No problem. Well, the reason I actually read that poem in particular is because when I first read that at an appearance, it was in an old people's home with nearly everybody in there was over the age of 60 and they were all Caucasian. And I was so hesitant to read that because I just thought, I don't want to be the cause of anybody's heart attack or anything like that, you know? And literally, I was so astounded. They gave me a standing ovation. Nearly every single person, even the woman that was on a Zimmer frame, got up to give an applaud. And I thought to myself, you know, this is the time. So like I'm saying, when I talk about going back to the children, during that time, me doing the home education group and putting my efforts into these children, seeing how bright they were and how much they were willing to soak up this knowledge, it made me realize that it doesn't matter what position other people want to put you in, what they want to say about you. If you resonates with you, you know, stand in your truth. Don't let nobody hush you up. Nobody silence you. Yeah, that's your truth. And if it means you have to change your situation, then do that. Yeah, there's no job that is worth your well-being.
Oh,
I am teaching my sons to create jobs now. They don't have to go through this, should I be this, should I be that? They want to be. They're going to be able to choose what it is that they want to do and who they want to work for, if they want to work for anybody at all. This is what I've learned in my journey from losing myself a little bit in the corporate world and finding myself wholly and solely spiritually. I know what my mission is here. Yeah. I just want to let you all know, and anybody out there that is thinking about home education, that is thinking about what they can do to give back, like Sister Samira said, volunteer in your community. Go and help out in the places that are needing of hands. There's always somewhere that needs that little bit of hand, you know? Help out in the nurseries, help out wherever you can. We go gardening, we do everything. And I'm just so blessed to be in this platform, to be able to share this with you. I didn't really want to go into my credentials because I don't really think that matters. To me, it's lived experience. If you can learn something in theory as much as you want, because I'm actually a qualified person-centered counselor, but I stopped counseling because I don't actually agree with the ethics of the BACP. Now, I've experienced the psychological side of the healthcare system on both sides, working for it and being on the opposite side of it. I had a session with a psychologist, and on the 6th session, this lady said to me, she is a little miffed with some of the words that I have been using. She did not understand what the term baby father meant. Now, for me, who's been educated through university, I'm thinking, you've learned Latin before, you're doing psychology. Are you telling me you do not know how to break down this word into 2 separate words? Or is it because it came from my mouth, it must mean something other than what it obviously means?
Teach!
This is the reason that I didn't do that. But what I will say is, for anybody that is in this industry, we need so much more of you in there. We need you in there. Yeah, I'm going to tell you why we need you in there. In going through my grievance with work and trying to explain to them what was happening, I went to my union rep and I asked my unions to come in and support me on the matter. Now, I was placed with a man that told me that he was the best person to handle my case within the whole of the union within Greater Manchester because of the fact that his grandparents were Irish. Now, I could have taken this as an insult, but he told me the truth. And I would rather the truth than any made up fabrication of what you think is the truth. Now, this here is it. If there is nobody that can relate to us, that can resonate with what we've been through at the point of where the decision makers are, at that top point, those top points there, that's where we're falling short. That's when we fall short. We need to have people in the positions that are actually making these decisions and can actually change these laws for us. Okay, so all of you that are in that, please plod on. You know, I was with you, I'm still with you. I'm just cheering from the other side now. Okay. So keep up the good work. Everybody out there that's in the industries and everyone that's coming out to do your own private thing, more power to you.
Wow. Brothers and sisters, what I said tonight is the vision of hidden truth. Sister, no. I don't know what to say to you. I honestly don't know what to say to you, my queen. Oh, look, just look in the chat room, sister, please. Sister Samira, what have you got to say to our queen, man? Because Elizabeth, I don't know you. It's the first time I met you tonight. Bang on it. I can see why you was recommended for this show. Sister Samira, what you got to say, sis?
Oh, I mean, the thing is that obviously I know Elizabeth and asked her if she would be able to share with us, because knowing what she has in terms of lived experience, I believed in my spirit that she would be able to help our family to look at the importance of the matters that she raised, such as home education, homeschooling your children. And I know that she actually has her program, so definitely get in touch with her about that. I have details. If you look in the chat, because I can see that a couple of people are asking how they can get in touch with you, then Mon, you'll be able to see in the chat that Mummy Carmen MacDonald is posting Sister Elizabeth's details. So you'll be able to get them there. But sorry, I'm looking at the chat. I'm looking at the chat as well as talking to you. So, but no.
I feel like there might have been a little piece that I might have left out that you may have wanted me to touch on there.
Yes, I was going to ask, and this is a trigger warning, everyone. So just bear that in mind. But you see, the thing is that trauma comes in different shapes and sizes and guises. And Sister Elizabeth, if you are comfortable and with as much detail as you are comfortable of sharing, if you can share what happened to you at 12 years old and how that has shaped you to the woman that you are today, please, I think that would really help a lot of our attendees, a lot of our family on the platform today.
Yeah, no problem. Right, so yeah, this is a bit of a trigger warning for anyone that's got like a little bit of a light stomach, but I'm gonna roll through it. And if I go a little bit fast, then just sort of hear me out. I'm getting to the point. Okay, so when I was 12 years old, we moved town. We moved from one town to another town, only a short distance, about 58 miles. But what had happened in the move, the whole curriculum had changed. So where I was doing extracurricular activities, those had been taken away, and we had to find something alternate. Now, the alternate was me being a radio DJ. I loved music. I was in the orchestra, I was in the choir. So it only made sense that I could go into DJing. One day, whilst I was at the studio, it just so happened that some young boys decided to take advantage of the opportunity that I was the only female there. I'd gone to the toilet, and upon trying to leave the toilet, I was barricaded in by them. Now, I was gang raped, and when we went home, me and my mom's friend's son, who's a bit like a cousin to me, when we went home, his mom didn't actually notice me. She noticed him. She saw that he was bleeding and that he was bruised up and that he must have been in a fight. And straight away, she just ripped into him, you know, the cussing about how many times she's spoken to him about being in a fight. And I took that opportunity to just slide past. She didn't notice the blood on me. She didn't notice that my clothes were ripped. I just managed to get past. Nobody noticed me. I went to have a bath straight away. And then the next thing I knew, and I'm not even sure how much time had passed between that and going back, I can't even remember how much time passed between that. But at the point when my mum came home from work, the first thing she got was the stress about how I'd used out all the hot water. In those days, it was the big tanks where you have to wait how many hours for it to refill. And she was really upset with me because we were staying at a friend's house because our boiler wasn't working. And these are just some of the things that I kind of want to highlight for parents. It may not be that you can relate to the things that I've been through in my book or in my courses, my workshops. It may not be that you personally can relate to those things, but you might relate to the points that I'm talking about with this, See, my mom went straight into that. She's just come home from work. She's now being stressed by her friend. I'm doing something that's caused her friend to be stressed. And the conversation never was spoken. And then it wasn't spoken the day after because she was busy trying to work and make sure that she was able to maintain a home for me and my little sister. And we just moved to a new town, like I'm saying. So she's trying to build everything back up. And it's one of those things that in raising children, sometimes we do get swayed over by the other things that are going on in our life and all the other things that are demanding our attention. What I would like to say to you is during those teenage years, during those vital years, and please just pay that little bit more attention to your children. Look out for the signs that Samira has said. If they're not listening to the same music that they were, if they're not dressing the same way that they were, little things like that. These are big, big hints in when something's going wrong in a teenager's life. I wasn't even a teenager then, I was a preteen, but I've always been a little bit more mature than those my age. I think I have an old spirit. But yeah, so if you can just look out for those little things within your home, take note of, a lot of people put it down to it being a teenage thing. I remember a lot of my mum's friends telling her that I was being rebellious, and it was because I wanted to take man, and men were not even on the forefront of my idea. I was a geek. I was not interested in men. I was interested in numbers, and science and all of the things that they said were conspiracy theories. I was not interested in boys. They had very minute intelligence at that age. And I'm not being bad to any of the men that are on here, but when you're in school and you're under the age of 15, 16, you don't really expand for much far out than girls. So it was never something that I was interested in. What I need you to understand is, for me at that time, the reason I didn't go to the police, the reason that I didn't go to any of the parents or any of the adults, partly because we just moved to a new town, and partly because of the fact that I knew this system wasn't going to do anything to give me back what I had lost. I knew that I was just going to be handing over these young boys that had already missed something out in their upbringing for them to be able to have done this to me. I knew that it wasn't anything to do with the police or anything like that, these boys doing this. It was all to do with what they had learned from home. It was all to do with what they had been able to get away with, what they had been able to bypass at home. Now, I thought to myself at the time, when they go home, are the parents smelling me on them? They've had dinner with their parents. They've gone in and acted as normal. These are just the little things that we need to take notice of. Is our children acting away? Are they trying to be away from our attention, out of our view? Are they trying to hide things? Are they being that little bit more private than is necessary at that time? And what is the reason for that? Just all of the, I'm not saying interrogate your children, but just keep a little bit more of an eye out. There might be something that they want to tell you, but they just do not they can't find the space. And as much as you may think you're giving them the space, that space needs to be there for them, not for you. It needs to be there for them. So that's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to keep on going on, but thank you very much for listening to me.
Thank you. I'm just going to read out a comment, if I may,
Yeah.
which is from an A. Barnett. I don't know your full name, my dear. It's not on here, but it says, "Amen, sister. Amen. I've chosen to remove my mask. I have to be accepted for who I am. It is not my problem if my intervention is perceived as not European or as others expect. I speak English and I know I can make myself understood. Your presentation has told me I have made the right decision. It is too hard to keep on trying to fit yourself in another person's system."
Yes, so true. I keep on saying to people, this here it's not a case of like a square fitting into a round hole. This here is like a 3-dimensional shape in a 2-dimensional world. I can't work with that. I'm a pyramid, and you all want me to fit into a square or a triangle. I'm gonna keep flipping.
Sister Elizabeth, sister. I mean, I don't know what to say to you, sister. I pray that you do get time to read all the comments out, sister. Sister Dorita just turned her camera on again. I mean, you have taken this platform onto levels that we just can't imagine. We want to thank you for your courage, for your humanity, for your humility, and the fact that you can look at a situation that you've just gone through and give balance to both sides. I mean, I just don't believe I would have been that kind of person. And to see, you've been made a special way, sister. I want you to know that there's not many of us that are like you. Your levels, and you know, there's a saying that, you know, people say there's levels to this game. You're on a new level, sister. You set a new level, and brothers and sisters, Hidden Truth family, come on, man, show the love, man, because this is what we're talking about. Sister Joy kicked off the day. Sister Samira came and just laid it down, and sister, you've just laid the table out with feast tonight. You sisters are taking it onto a new level. And that's why in March, I'm saying it now, brothers and sisters, in March, it's going to be Sisters Month. It's going to be the Queen's Month. Every main speaker during the month of March is coming from the royal community of Black Queens. I'm saying it to you right now from the Hidden Truth platform. March is going to be dedicated to the Black woman. And Sister Elizabeth, Queen Elizabeth, you've made that as a foundation now. That was awesome. That was beautiful. And that was absolutely amazing. Once again, sister, we bow to your honesty and your courage and your bravery. Jarita, before we move on, is there anything you want to say to the sister?
Amazing presentation. Thank you so much for your honesty, for your candor, for sharing everything that you've been through, because through showing what your experiences, you give space to the rest of us who may have experienced similar or know people who have experienced similar. So thank you so much for that. I will say that there are personally, and I don't know if anyone will agree, but I've seen a few people say that then, you know, there still needs to be some punishment for these people. And personally, I'm not one that will agree with that or condone that. I'm a genuine believer in what goes around comes around, and their punishment will come without us having to think that way. Thinking negatively or wanting something bad to happen to somebody ultimately affects us as people. We don't need to hold on to that baggage. You know, the Bible says, you know, vengeance is mine, you know? So I think in a certain way, you've shown that you could grow from that. And we don't know where those people are today. I'm hoping you don't know anyway, because if we do, then I've got a baseball bat somewhere we could go and sort them out. But you know, we don't know where they are today.
I have brothers. I have brothers, but we're not going to deal with it like that.
Oh, okay. All right. Don't worry. When we come off the platform, Drew say this is being recorded. Let me just hold it down.
Karma's got me, darling. I've got angels. Karma's got me.
But no, the truth being, you know, we don't know where those people are today, and the fact of the matter is, they're what they have done will impact them how it needs to impact them. You know, what you have to look out for is yourself. And, you know, you take responsibility for moving on as constructively as possible. And so thank you so much for showing us that it is possible, and that, you know, greatness can come from things that we wouldn't necessarily like to happen to us. But thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Absolutely serious. Sister Samira, before we move on, is there anything that you would like to say?
I won't. Everything that I would have said has been said. So I just want to say to Sister Elizabeth, thank you so much for sharing. Obviously, I knew about your experience, and for you to open up your heart and what has happened to you, but not be defined by it, is key, because it's all about showing everyone, as we entitled it, that you can actually triumph irrespective of the trauma that you endure. So thank you so much for sharing with us, sis.
Amen.
And Sister Samira, before you go, Sister Elizabeth, Queen Elizabeth, I should say now, our Queen, is there anything in 30 seconds, sister, that you would like to say to us in regards, as a closing? My daughter, who's one of the admin team, she's stated from her notes, don't let anyone silence you. Be who you want to be. Work for who you want to work for. Know what your mission is. Volunteer more. Help out in nurseries and so on. You can learn as much as you want.
Yeah, you definitely can. And everyone's got a phone or the internet, anything that you want to research. If you thought to yourself, oh, I want to be a scientist, I want to be an engineer, I want to be, go and do a little bit of study on it. You know, the more you take in, and if you're ever in those low points, the more that you take in or you write down, the better for you. You know, just get it out. Keep a journal, like Samira said. Keep a diary. These things are helpful because when you look at them a year on, even half a year on, you're like, wow, was I there? Wow, look where I've come. And these are the things that keep you going, okay? And always remember to smile. Anytime that you have had a good cry, you've let those tears go, remember to smile afterwards because there's so many things for you to be grateful for. So just remember to smile and keep smiling.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, my queen. Brothers and sisters, as we move on again with the show, it's just been an amazing night. That was our queen, Queen Elizabeth, absolutely tore the place down. And as her sister said, funny enough, Sister Elizabeth, I was doing a workshop in her school this morning on children's mental health. And again, that smile is a medicine. It's a medicine to your soul and to other people's soul. And at the other side of the coin, it's okay to be sad. It's okay to shed a tear. That is a part of your mental health too. It's not that if you shed a tear, if you cry, that means that you're down and what that in other words, you're suffering mental. Sometimes we need to be sad. We need to let people know that we are sad so we can be consoled. Sometimes it's our sadness that allows us to communicate and to speak out about our feelings. So brothers and sisters, it's about having that balance. It's about having that absolute balance today. Once again, sister, we thank you so much from all of our hearts, sister. All right, remember, brothers and sisters, you must unlearn what you have learned, okay? Because for the last 400 years, we've not learned the right thing. So brothers and sisters, those of you that are new to our platform, you got to know that we don't just talk on a Tuesday and massage each other's ego with good emotional words. After the show, we go to work. Based on the show, brothers and sisters, and based on you funding us, we are now opened up our own school for Black children aged between 8 to 15 years old, supplementary school on a Saturday. We have the Westside Young Leaders Academy in West London, and now we run the Lewisham Young Leaders Academy that we opened up in September. This is all down to you, brothers and sisters, supporting us. These are some of our young Black princes. Look at them, man. Yeah, we only have them 3 hours a week out of 160 hours in a week. We take them